This is ABC7 News at 11, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good evening, I'm Jacqueline Matter. Thanks for joining us tonight. Topping our news, alligators are a way of life here in Florida, and now they're part of the World Rowing Championships here in Sarasota County. As ABC7's Rick Adams tells us, gators have made an appearance quite a few times this week.
Well, the world has converged on Nathan Benderson Park for the World Rowing Championships. For some, they've had a chance to experience one of Florida's main attractions.
We are somehow looking forward to see one. I'm sometimes searching for it.
Sophie Sauer is a rower with the women's team from the Netherlands. She and many of the other rowers and spectators from the 69 countries here for the World Rowing Championships would love to see an alligator. There have already been at least 2 gator sightings.
It's not rare to see an alligator either out on the water or on land. There was a confirmed sighting during competition on Monday, but as the boat was getting near it, he just popped his head right back under the water.
That gator did not disrupt the competition. We're being told there was also a gator spotted earlier this week during a practice session. For the rowers we talked with, many of them are more excited than nervous about gators.
I heard they're afraid of people, so and they're really slow at the land, I heard, but really fast in the water. But no, not really afraid.
Some rowers and spectators have even taken a trip to Mayaca River State Park with the hopes of seeing some gators. For Spain's team manager Felipe Garcia, he spotted a gator right outside his hotel with other members of his team.
At first you're surprised because I have never seen them.
The international organization overseeing the event did meet with Florida Fish and Wildlife. The rowing body did send out information to all the rowing teams on how to avoid an unpleasant encounter with an alligator. The World Rowing Championships go on from now through this Sunday here at Nathan Benderson Park, and time will tell if we do see any more of these special visitors. Reporting from Sarasota County, I'm Rick Adams, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
All right, thank you so much, Rick. The first day of trial started today for Frank Bybee. The former Sarasota County Sheriff's deputy is accused of stealing thousands of dollars from an elderly woman and then trying to kill her. Bybee faces 18 felony charges, including attempted murder, kidnapping, and exploitation of the elderly. Today, the alleged 80-year-old victim took the stand, detailing her relationship with Bybee and the months leading up to the night that she says he tried to suffocate her.
Because he was taking over my life. When I would ask him not to do something, he would do it anyhow.
Bybee is also accused of stealing $65,000 from Soul. The defense argues that that money was never cashed. They say that Soul is bipolar and was kicked out of multiple facilities because of her demeanor. That trial resumes tomorrow morning at 9. The family of a 2-year-old Nebraska boy who was killed by an alligator at Walt Disney World last year is creating a foundation to help families with children receiving organ transplants. Matt Graves says that after their son Lane's death, they wanted to help other families fighting for their children's lives. Lane was playing on a beach outside Disney's Grand Floridian Resort last year when an alligator grabbed him and dragged him into the lake. Matt Graves jumped into the water to try and rescue his son, but was unable to. Lane's body was found 16 hours later. The Lane Thomas Foundation will now help pay travel and living expenses for families with children being treated in Omaha at Children's Hospital or Nebraska Medical Center. Sarasota County Health and Human Services is recruiting a team of volunteers to run reception centers during a disaster. In a disaster, a volunteer reception center may be set up to organize volunteers, and the center is a vital part of managing the numerous volunteers who respond to assist those in need during a natural or man-made disaster. It also acts as a staging area to process and dispatch volunteer teams to the affected areas. Volunteer reception centers do not control the incident. They only provide support in the way of volunteers and donated goods and services. Well, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan for your first alert forecast. Bob?
Yeah, another great program is CERT 2, which is the Citizen Emergency Response Teams that are set up across Manatee and Sarasota counties, which help the same way, really, after a storm moves on through. They're quick to respond there to their local neighborhoods. We are looking at some showers that were around earlier. Those have since moved on. For the most part, there's just a slight chance for a coastal shower, some surface boundaries work off toward the west, but for the time being, things are pretty quiet out there, pretty comfortable too. We have clear skies and 80 degrees. Despite the warm temperature, the dew point's really nice at 72, down into the mid-70s, but the winds are out of the north at 5, and the pressure has been rising, 2.93 inches, and overnight temperatures will be dropping down to the low to mid-70s with just a few clouds around, so it should be a pleasant start to the day on Thursday. Well, in the tropics, as you know, we have 3 separate systems we're watching. This was a major storm now, the fifth one of the season. Lee now expected to move off to the north. It's already starting to do that. You can see it's gaining latitude here in the last few frames, so that's starting its northward trek. And also Maria, a storm is going to head off to the northeast, already starting to do it, so it's pulling away from the Carolina coastline there. And now we got this system down to our south we'll have to watch very closely. The Hurricane Center not giving it much of a chance developing right now, only at about 20% for the next 5 days as it makes its way slowly to the north. A lot of that deep convection has, for the most part, moved on, but there's still an area of low pressure that's trying to develop there. It won't have much of a chance until it gets into the Florida Straits, it looks like, and that'll take a couple of days. I mentioned that chance now just at 10% over the next 2 days, 20% over the next 5 days, and it looks like one thing it will do is bring us a much better chance for some showers and storms over a good chunk of Florida. More on that coming up in a few minutes. Back to you, Jacqueline.
All right, thank you so much, Bob. 1 week after Hurricane Maria barreled across Puerto Rico as a Category 4 storm, the conditions there are dire. In some areas, residents completely fending for themselves, saying they've received no outside help at all. Water, food, and fuel growing increasingly scarce as well. ABC's Richard Cantu has more.
So much of the recovery from last week's devastating hurricane has been a do-it-yourself affair for Puerto Ricans as the wait for help from the outside stretches on. The governor Wednesday visiting a National Guard base in hard-hit Salinas. More than 3/4 of the wooden structures there destroyed.
We're an island. It is harder to get things over here from the mainland.
Military operations bringing in tons of equipment and supplies, but many still waiting for help. Only 4% of the island has electricity, just over half drinkable water, and 80% of the telecommunications are down. In Vega Alta, the Red Cross is setting up a satellite internet, a lifeline for residents trying to reach loved ones.
I want to talk to them. I want to tell them that I'm okay. They don't worry for me.
And in Utah, one intrepid man posting videos of people still in a shelter there to Facebook.
My name is Robert Strong, and if they see this thing, know that I am okay and that I'm well taken care of.
In Old San Juan, family-owned businesses are slowly opening, managing the best they can without power. A restaurant setting up tables on the sidewalk, too hot to serve inside, and this pharmacy selling things at a discount or giving them away to customers without cash. While the lines for basic necessities, water, cash, and especially gasoline grow exasperatingly long. Richard Cantu, ABC News, New York.
Meanwhile, Governor Rick Scott is traveling to San Juan, Puerto Rico tomorrow. Scott will be helping coordinate response and recovery efforts following Hurricane Maria. The governor spoke with Puerto Rico's governor before the storm hit to offer Florida's support. Puerto Rican dignitaries say they need supplies to be quickly shipped to that island. Scott has called on Florida port directors to prioritize and expedite shipping goods from across the country quickly to Puerto Rico. He also directed the Florida National Guard and the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission to stand ready to assist Puerto Rico as soon as the government identifies their specific needs.
I'll learn more about what's going on in Puerto Rico over time. I'm going to do everything I can, whether it's to help the governor, the people, FEMA, whatever resources. I'm going to work with them to try to get every resource we can in Florida. We're blessed. Our state's doing well. We have an experience of going through these things, and so I'm going to do everything I can to be helpful to them.
Well, straight ahead, Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will be back with your first alert forecast, plus dramatic video involving a suspect wanted for killing a mother and daughter in California. And President Trump proposing a tax plan today, how it could help middle-class families.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089, 800-329-3089.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
Well, certainly not too bad of a day today. What about tomorrow? How's it shaping up for tomorrow?
Looking pretty good, too. And we have a big golf tournament at the Braden Country Club. But Wagner Realty is putting on a big tournament to raise some money for more Narcan supplies for the Manatee Sheriff's Department. So it's going to be a good tournament. Hopefully, we get a lot of people out there and the weather cooperates. So we'll see how it goes. That's
definitely needed.
Tomorrow morning. Good program setting up there. We have a good program tonight, too. Get a look at this. Viewer photos sent in of a guy getting this from the Venice Jetty out there. Said it was nice and comfortable out there. And it looks like it'll be the same tomorrow. Winds and seas, though, out on the waters will pick up over the weekend, especially on Sunday. So keep that in mind. And the Van Wezel webcam showing a beautiful sunset tonight. With clear skies around, not many colors. Sometimes you need a little clouds around to help out and make some gorgeous colors out there, but even so, a beautiful one nonetheless. Titan radar picture showing some activity that had been around is winding down now this evening. Some activity still pretty heavy across South Florida, right there along Alligator Alley and just to the west of Miami. For us, we have a surface boundary which is heading out into the Gulf here. It could generate 1 or 2 lone showers, but our rain chance less than 20%. Inland storms again today, although Northport getting some activity, about 1/10 of an inch there, but 1.3 inches of rainfall in the eastern portions of Sarasota County and in southeast Manatee County. Well, there could be a lot more rain on the way associated with this tropical disturbance. We talked about it earlier. This is a favorite area as we start to move into October here. This is the most favorite area for development. The Atlantic kind of shuts down and we start to see more and more activity in the Western Caribbean Sea. Water temperature is extremely warm here. A lot of untapped heat as a result of most of the storms out in the Atlantic passing north of this area. But right now, there's not a lot going on. There's some heavy storms located south of Jamaica. Pressures haven't dropped all that much, but we do expect this to drift northward. And the chances are very small at this point, but I must caution you, Emily, similar situation coming out of Louisiana, did generate into a tropical storm in short order, less than a day. So we'll watch it very closely. The next name up is Nate. Nate will be the next named storm. And it looks like we could see that possibly 3 to 4 more storms before the season's over on November 30th. Let's hope not, but we'll see how it goes. This upper level low is already starting to fade away. You can see that being ripped apart by some strong winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And that's the thing to note. The conditions are not favorable for development, so we're not too concerned about this developing into a massive storm anytime soon. But maybe by Saturday and Sunday and into Monday. But then after that, things become even less favorable for development due to some shear expected to be around. So we're not anticipating a big windstorm, but we could get a lot more rainfall from it. 80 degrees right now, and the dew point 72. The high today was 90. 88 is the normal high. No rainfall to report. We've had our fair share, well above average for the month and for the year. The forecast tomorrow, a slight chance for a shower or two along the coast as the sea breeze starts to work inland, and then about a 20% chance for inland storms. So a fairly dry day again on Thursday. In the tropics, we're watching this area disturbed weather. Obviously, we're not too concerned about these two storms anymore. Lee and Maria will head off into the open waters. 75-mile-an-hour winds becoming a tropical storm tomorrow and heading off toward Europe, and pretty much the same story with Lee at this point. Lee, a Category 2 storm now, expected to open up into the open waters of the Atlantic. For boaters tomorrow, it shapes up like this. Seas running 2 feet or less with a light chop. East winds turn to the northwest. The water temperature at 86 degrees. And the tides upcoming. The next high tide will be at 5:36, sunrise at 7:22. Tonight, partly cloudy, mild, 75 for your low. And then for tomorrow, look for just a 20% chance for a few late day showers. Should be a nice day for golf and whatever outdoor activity you may have planned, maybe some rowing. Then the extended forecast is calling for a much better chance for showers and storms on Friday in the afternoon and evening, but better on Saturday through Tuesday of next week. It'll be kind of windy too, Sunday and Monday on those days as a result of that system hanging around. Jacqueline?
All right, thanks, Bob. Tonight, dramatic video out of Sacramento, California, where 2 police officers were shot while trying to stop a murder suspect. ABC's Danya Backus has the details.
Sacramento police stopping this black pickup truck giving explicit orders.
Drop the keys out the window!
Trying to get the person inside, Eric Arnold, who was wanted in connection with a double murder, to follow. But it quickly becomes clear he isn't. Sacramento police now releasing 15 dash and body camera videos from the September 7th shooting. From multiple angles, you see the chaos. This officer was hit. His protective vest likely saving his life from a shot to the torso. Another officer was shot in the leg.
Leg? Yeah.
Arnold blasts 6 shots from his semi-automatic, police responding with over 30 bullets, hitting him over 14 times. Arnold, who was suspected in the shooting and burning deaths of a mother and daughter, was killed during the shootout. Both officers were treated and released. Danya Backus, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, Ford is now teaming up with Lyft's ride-hailing service. If the partnership goes through, at first human driving cars from Ford will carry Lyft passengers. Later, the automaker plans to connect its self-driving test cars to Lyft's network, but those self-driving cars will not carry passengers until they're fully tested. Ford says it expects the Lyft partnership to accelerate its self-driving car efforts. The company says it wants to develop a fully driverless vehicle by 2021. And if you're seeing longer tweets on your timeline, it's not a glitch. Twitter has doubled its limit to 280 characters, but only for a small test group. The test group includes those who tweet in certain languages, including English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Users writing in Japanese, Chinese, and Korean won't see that change. Twitter says that's because those languages can express more ideas in fewer words. Twitter has yet to decide if it will expand the feature to all users. After striking out over health care, Republicans are shifting their focus now to tax reform. President Trump unveiling the framework for Republicans' plan during a speech in Indianapolis today. ABC's Serena Marshall has more from Washington.
President Trump calling his plan a middle-class miracle.
These tax cuts are significant. There's never been tax cuts like what we're talking about.
The president in Indiana started a cross-country blitz to sell tax reform to the country. The details are up to Congress, but the framework released Wednesday calls for slashing the tax on corporations, now 35%, to 20%. For individuals and families, reducing the number of tax brackets from 7 to just 3. Doubling the standard deduction for families. That would mean no income tax whatsoever on the first $24,000 of income. But top earners would see their rate drop to 35%, while low-income earners would see an increase to 12%. The political stakes for the president are high after Congress's failure to pass repeal and replace, and the president making a bipartisan plea.
Democrats and Republicans in Congress should come together, finally, to deliver this giant win for the American people and begin middle-class miracle.
Democrats, though, calling the plan a false promise to the middle class.
It is a framework that gives away the store to the wealthiest while sticking the middle class with a bill.
Speaker of the House Paul Ryan said he hopes to have a bill before the president and signed by the end of the year. But without a clear plan on how to pay for these tax cuts, he could have trouble getting some Republicans on board. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington.
Well, sports is next, but first, here's Jimmy Kimmel.
We have a totally combustible show tonight.
In 3, 2, 1.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline. If you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death, you must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
It's Willamania at the Players Center as the Will Rogers Follies takes the stage September 27th. Part homespun humor and part Ziegfeld Follies, this toe-tapping Tony Award musical is the start of our wild Broadway series. So call the Players at 365-2494 or visit us at theplayers.org. You need to catch Willamania.
Attention type 2 diabetics. The FDA warns of an increased risk of amputation associated with certain diabetes medications. If you took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation or one of these other serious injuries, call the Rely On Group right now. If you've suffered amputation or any of these other injuries after taking your diabetes medication, call the Rely On Group today. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-604-1698. That's 800-604-1698.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
Now, sports.
The Yankees hosting the Rays again tonight at Yankee Stadium. Fast forward to the 6th inning. Yankees are up 2-1 with Starlin Castro up. Castro crushes this one to the left for the home run. And when you make big plays, of course, you have to answer to the media. The Yankees dugout crowds around Castro, cameraman and all, and he gives an interview. Now the next batter is Greg Bird, and he homers to right. Back-to-back home runs, and Bird gets his close-up as well. Still in the 6th inning, Aaron Hicks is up, and he homers to left. Yankees hit 3 homers in the 6th, so it obviously was not a good night for the Rays. Once again tonight, Yankees beat them 6-1. Well, one of college basketball's best-known coaches is being sidelined. Louisville coach Rick Pitino is on unpaid leave amid a federal corruption probe. The school says both Pitino and athletic director Tom Urich were placed on administrative leave, and it comes after assistant coaches from 4 other schools were among 10 others arrested on Tuesday on federal charges. Prosecutors say they took cash bribes and kickbacks in exchange for steering elite college players to corrupt financial advisors. The goal was for those athletes to retain those financial advisors upon entering the NBA. Well, suspended Florida defensive lineman Jordan Smith is facing 4 more felony complaints. The Gainesville Police Department filed 4 sworn complaints against him today. Police say Smith used the credit card of a Virginia man to pay more than $1,000 for his Gainesville apartment. Smith is just one of 9 players involved in the credit card scandal. The 9 others remain indefinitely suspended from the team while the state attorney's office reviews the case and weighs any formal charges. And some Florida legends will be inducted into the Florida Sports Hall of Fame. Among the 5 athletes to enter the Hall, former Gator great and Heisman Trophy winner Tim Tebow, former Florida State and Bucks running back Warrick Dunn, Atlanta Braves All-Star and Florida native Chipper Jones, former PGA Tour Commissioner Tim Fincham, and former Florida State and LPGA star Colleen Walker. The ceremony is set for November 8th in Ponte Vedra Beach. And a special announcement about ABC7's Football Friday Night. The program will air tomorrow night because of the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur. Most of the area's high school football games are being played tomorrow night instead of Friday. So that means our highlight show will be right here on ABC7 starting at 11:15. That's a look at sports. We'll have tonight's winning lotto numbers when we come back.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make 1 monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
It's been about a month, and I can honestly say I've seen the change in me. I went from being a depressed girl who didn't want help to this happy, caring girl who loves helping other people. I just really hope that people that went through what I went through get the help that they need, because their story is important and they are loved. Thank you so much for everything.
Oh, look! A bouquet of lump-livered drolls.
We went to a real school to show that bullying should be history.
You monkey-elbowed pockmarks. What a bunch of beef-witted pig nuts.
On Monday, October 2nd, let's all stand up for World Day of Bullying Prevention by rocking a blue shirt. Together, let's make bullying a thing of the past. Go blue and get your blue shirt at stompoutbullying.org.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local boys and girls clubs. Great futures start here.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
ABC7 News at 7, weeknights. The Florida Lottery winning numbers are sponsored by Frontier Fios.
Well, some rain in the forecast for the weekend, but looks like the rest of the week won't be too bad, right?
Not too bad. Yeah,
Okay.
Thursday night football, will be okay. And thankfully, it's not on Friday because it has been tough going Friday. Friday, a little bit better chance for some scattered storms, but more so over the weekend. We have to watch the system kind of closely for the possibility of heavy rain right now. It doesn't look like it's going to be a big windstorm for us, but heavy rain could be a problem because the ground is saturated right now.
Of course. All right. Thanks so much, Bob. Have a good night. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.